a doom loop that's allowed recent songs to stay on the charts for absurdly long runs. Which to me would make sense, because hit songs we all collectively enjoy feel few and far between these days. And I think there's a few main reasons for that. Now, I'm not one of those people who's saying that all modern music is bad or anything like that, or that they don't make good music anymore. There is a ton of great music coming out every single day. But what I'm saying is, it feels like the mainstream music, the most popular upper echelon music, just isn't as fun and collectively enjoyed as it used to be.
Low-key true, low-key true. I mean, this year is hard to say because, for some reason, no one's dropping. But I do agree with his take, man. I do agree with yeah, you can literally see just off sales is crazy. Let's be real. Look, back in the day, back in like 2017, 18, even 2019, artists were able to sell 1 million copies first week for their albums. Now, the artists that were selling 1 million are selling what? 400, 300K. Do you know how crazy of a jump that is? That's insane, right? Denzel dropping a compilation album next year and a solo album. What's a compilation album? It's like all your singles. Wait, when did you say? What did I say? What did I say? Did I miss something? I read Gucci Rima is gonna save music. Yeah. What year? Like the 2017, like 2016, 2017, 2018, and I guess 2019. That's when artists were selling like. And by artists, I mean like the big artists, like, Drake, Kendrick, even J. Cole, Kanye. They were selling like what? Mil plus first week, right? Mainly Drake and Kanye. They were selling, what, 700 a mil, close to that, right? But now those same artists are selling 400K, 300K, because people are really moving away from like buying music and like really enjoying it. Now it's just, hey, let's just stream the music, Future said he was dropping any day in November, and it's now December 3rd. Yeah, see, this is the one thing when listening to music, don't believe the artist ever, Until the music drops fully on their page, don't believe them. I reckon Bully's going to get either 30K or 80K, just those two. I don't think Bully's going to get that much. And the only reason why is because technically, one, it's taken him a while to drop it. Two, he technically dropped it, but didn't fully drop it. And three, Donda didn't even sell 80K. Donda sold like what? 600K, 700K? So I don't think Bully's gonna sell that much. I think Bully would sell, I think 300K. I think Bully's gonna sell 300K. Then Bully dropped a while ago. Yeah, but he took it down. So I'm guessing he's like re-dropping it like properly this time. I think he's gonna sell like 300, maybe 4. If he can like gain his fan base back, maybe 400, 500K. 500 too. I think 400K, but I think if not, 300K.
Let's do a little experiment. Let's check out the Billboard Hot 100 in 2010 and in 2020. In 2010, we have TikTok by Kesha, Hey Soul Sister by Train, California Girls by Katy Perry, Airplanes by B.O.B., Love the Way You Lie, Bad Romance, Dynamite, and many more songs that I'd imagine we all know and enjoy. Pop songs that are fun to dance to, fun to sing along to, fun to play with your friends, and things like that. And then in 2020, we have Blinding Lights by The Weeknd, Circles by Post Malone, The Box by Roddy Ricch, Rockstar by DaBaby, Life is Good, Memories, Say So, and more. I do like The Box, but it just feels like the ones from the 2010s are way more classic. The songs from the 2010s feel like they're more fun, they aged better, and we all enjoyed them more collectively. Let's try again though, looking at 2015 and 2025. In 2015, we had Uptown Funk, See You Again, Trap Queen, Sugar, Blank Space, Watch Me, The Hills, Can't Feel My Face, Bad Blood.
Kind of nostalgic, no? Yeah, it is kind of nostalgic. That's the whole reason why a lot of these songs began as many, things as well, because of nostalgia.
How is 2025 going to compete? Well, 2025's year-end list isn't out yet, but there hasn't been much change anyway, so let's take a look at 2024, which featured a bar song.
Who the hell is Teddy Swims? Wait, okay, I'm seeing names I don't even know. Do you remember when Kanye was teasing the album could cut? I don't remember this, and I'm happy I don't remember this, because what the hell? Kanye, man, wrap it up. And the radio was the thing back then. Yeah, exactly, everyone was listening to radio. Yeah, but he changed. He's changed now, right? I think. Also, I don't know these names. Teddy Swims, I don't know who the hell this is. A bar song, I only know it because he was with Beyonce or something like that. Benson Boone. I don't know who the hell this guy is. Post Malone and Morgan Wallen. Okay, I only know them because they're famous. Kendrick Lamar, Sabrina Carpenter, Tommy Richman, Zach Bryan featuring Casey Musgrave. I don't know who the hell that is. Hoza, I don't know who that is. Noah Kahan, I don't know who any of these people are, by the way. Cock with Dave Blunt's, Oh, okay. I do remember now. Dave Blunt's, man. He was chilling with Sneeko. Yeah, I'll be real, bro. Ye had some insane run in a bad way. Ever since that one clip of him in the interview, it's been nothing but downhill for him, man. Hopefully it goes back up. Hopefully he changes. He locks in, goes back to the old Kanye. I think, you know what? This is what happened since he changed his name to Ye. Go change your name back to Kanye, man. And then everything should go back to normal, hopefully.
Beautiful things. I had some help. Not like us.
They
Espresso.
apologized to the rabbis. I saw that. But really and truly, he hasn't said anything public yet, has he? He trying to come back? I hope so, man. I hope so. He did make some. He made some good music. So it'd be good to see him come back. But really and truly, until he makes like a, I mean, nah. I was gonna say public. He's made public apologies before. It didn't work. Hey, man. Until he just makes that good music again, we just have to wait.
$1 Million Baby, and more. Again, I could be alone in this feeling, but I feel like the songs from 2015 are just miles better. I mean, what on that list I just named comes even close to Trap Queen? Name one. There's nothing. Those again are songs that you could sing with your friends or dance to. It felt like we all as a society collectively enjoyed these songs more. And to me, it just feels like that overarching feeling is gone. And it's hard to describe. Well, I don't think it's just me.
A pretty excellent selection of songs in this top 10. I'm genuinely optimistic about pop music these days.
I don't know about that one, man.
What the f happened?
Now, this is completely my opinion, but I feel like, in general, modern popular music, at least these last few years, isn't that exciting anymore. Of course, there are bangers we all like here and there, and the independent, alternative, indie, and underground scenes are full of more talent than ever.
You know what it is? I noticed. Guys started moving away from pop music. That's what it is. Really and truly, back in the day, pop music was #1 genre. Everyone was singing it. Everyone was listening to it. Rappers would make hit songs with pop artists. So, all the people that like rap were listening to the pop songs. Pop artists were on top of the world. They were making good music to dance to listen to. Now it's just no one's trying to listen to pop music, one. And two, all the people that were making good pop music back in the day, they stopped making music or they just make terrible music now. That's what it is. Rapper and pop songs were the one, exactly. You got massive rappers making hits with massive pop singers. Like, it was crazy back in the day. Now no one does that because, who's trying, pop is not that big of a genre as it was before. Now it's just who has the least monthly listeners, or the most monthly listeners, yeah. I'm telling you, man. Back in the day, pop was #1 genre, man. Everyone was listening to pop.
Before, but the mainstream is suffering. And I think there are a few reasons as to why this could be. One reason could be today's terrible economy and wealth inequality. I mean, I'm spending $60 at the grocery store for some eggs, chicken, and yogurt. It's crazy. And one tool that can help you with this is Current. Current is a mobile banking.
Yo, I always fall for these ads, man. How do I always fall for these ads?
Let's continue. Now, it is an objective fact
that
pop
fell off when guys tried to say that SD can affect me in bed and eat. Why? That's an insane take from them, man. See, they weren't there. They weren't around in that time. They only here for the new year. They weren't there for the back in the old day. Even though it wasn't that long ago, but still. Yeah, man. Yeah, music. I don't know how
music is getting simplified. For example, melodies in pop music have gotten a lot simpler over time, according
that take genuine rage baited me. Nah, it's understandable bait. Don't worry, man. Understandable rage. I understand you. You can't let them get away with that. Because if you let them get away with this one, they're gonna keep going. Can't let them keep going. Next thing they're gonna say is SD Kid's better than Kanye, and then that's where we have to draw the line. No, that's where the line should have been drawn like 2 years ago. We have to stop it there.
To studies. A study looked at the top 5 Billboard songs from 1950 to 2023 and found that both rhythm and pitch became steadily less complex over that period. Conservatively, they have both decreased by 30%. This isn't.
Have you listened to these underground beats? I don't think you've been listening to underground beats. Okay. Maybe in the mainstream, the beats aren't as good as they were back in the day, but the underground took the mantle for that one.
Inherently a bad thing, but it's just one of many studies that goes to show that pop music has been getting simpler. A study in 2012 showed that diversity of note combinations has consistently diminished in the last 50 years.
See, this is what happens when Pharrell is not, he's not making beats for everyone, man. Back when he was making beats for everyone, everyone was loving music. Pharrell stopped, all the originality stopped, You know, everyone gave up. Done. Everyone's using simple beats. That's what happened. You know.
melodies are becoming more and more similar, and songs are relying on a smaller range of timbres than before. And I think the
Everyone's just
biggest
trying to get a
driver of
classic
this
hit.
is the streaming era and record labels. First of all, think about platforms like Spotify or TikTok. When Spotify took off, their unique playlist system was the standard for finding new music. To make it to the top Spotify playlist, your song
This
has
video's
to
look all true. Yeah, man. Yeah, this guy is speaking facts.
work its way through the lower and mid-tier playlists first. And if your song is skipped a lot, it won't graduate, making it so artists might not be inclined to have a slow intro or too crazy of an intro. And when people are listening to playlists in the background, they don't want super crazy songs. So the focus isn't on giving people reasons to listen to your music, but avoiding giving them reasons to turn it off, which is why a lot of pop songs may feel a little bit more bland or less offensive than they may have in the past.
One thing I will notice is albums nowadays don't feel like albums. Or like, no, they don't feel like albums. Genuinely, sometimes I struggle just to sit down and listen to an album fully. A lot of the time, either the album must be in the back when I'm listening to it, or like, this is when I'm talking about first time listens. First time listens now is terrible compared to back in the day. Because back in the day, you had people who were actually like, back in the day, an album was an album. You know? Like, everyone used to take it seriously. Like, look at what's it called? College Dropout by Kanye. He had stuff like the workout plan, little skits. Like, artists used to have skits in their albums. Like, it actually felt like you were doing something. Like, it felt nice to listen to. You were actually doing something, you know. You got you engaged. But now artists just put a compilation of their music, you know, where sometimes every single song sounds the same, and it's like, I can't even bother to sit down here and try and listen to the whole thing. I'd much rather have it in the background whilst I'm doing something, you know. I think we're going back to mixtape area and rap. Yes, that's true. We definitely are.
In a similar
We
way, the
definitely are. It's
TikTok
because, you know, because of first week sales, stuff like that. You know, guys are not trying to have an album fail, do terribly first week, not even hit the Billboard top like hot 200s. You know, when they could just drop a mixtape and then, because it's a mixtape, less songs, less effort. You know, fans are probably gonna like it more because it's just gonna be more songs that they can just focus on. And on top of that, if it doesn't, it's not gonna hit the top 200. They don't have to worry because it's not an album, it's a mixtape, which makes sense, you know.
era of music has artists hyper-focused on a 10-second clip of their song, usually the chorus, hoping that that one part goes viral, whereas the rest of the track may be a little boring or repetitive or just brushed off. Another reason pop music all sounds kind of simpler and similar is likely because of how easy it is to make music now. Objectively, I think that making music more accessible has been a huge net positive and it has led to way more innovation, but it can also cause a couple problems. I saw a YouTuber named Lachlan Frazier made a similar video on this topic and brought up a great point.
Talking about how
Wait. Hang on a minute. What's NetSpend doing in this cover? Okay, hang on a minute. If we're talking about modern music being boring, I don't think NetSpend can be in there. His music's definitely not boring. It's definitely unique and innovative, or whatever the hell the word is. Okay, I don't know how we trying to throw in NetSpend there. Come on, not too much in him.
YouTuber named Lachlan Frazier made a similar video on this topic and brought up a great point.
talking about how the tape sound that everyone strives for and loves isn't actually the saturation or compression that you get from tape. Instead, the tape sound that everyone wants but doesn't quite realize they want is the imperfections. Tape was expensive and difficult to work with. You really needed to be good at what you were doing, and if you were considering doing a retake, you really had to think it over.
I always type so because I'm laying away from my screen watching. Oh, no worries.
And decide, do I really want to redo this whole take and waste more tape? And because of that, older records tend to have more flaws. But now with digital recording, you can endlessly record takes and then comp out a perfect take and then quantize it and run it through Melodyne and then stack 5 EQs and 30 other plugins on top of that.
See, I don't know anything he's talking about, but I understand what he's talking about. That is true, though. That is true. Now you can just make the perfect song. Quote, unquote.
Perfected the soul out of music is a great quote from that video. And I think this leaves people yearning for some sort of imperfection in music. For example, when the SoundCloud era popped off in the late 2010s, a lot of the draw to that genre was the art.
What is an S-band? Oh, buddy. It's time for you to get tapped in, man. It's time for you to get tapped. What is that emoji? Is that an onion? But yeah, it's time for you to tap in, man. Go on NetSpend, look at his discography. Yeah, you know, he's an interesting artist, you know. It's really you love him or you hate him. He's low-key a model more now. Yeah, he models for Gucci now. Now he just models for Gucci and does that. I'm not trying to spend. All I heard is that he's shit. Okay, look. That's why I'm saying it's either you love him or you hate him. There's really no in between. You can't be like, yeah, Netspend's cool. It's either you love his music or you hate his music. There's really no in between. I'll try. What genre? It's rap. You know what the underground is, right? Underground rap. Look, if you've never listened to the underground before, I'm gonna be real, you might be in for a pleasant or unpleasant surprise. It really just depends on you. I mostly listen to underground. Oh, then you're chilling then, bro. Go listen to Netspend, you're chilling then. Go ahead.
Is utilizing distortion. People enjoyed what most pop songs would have edited out at the time. Personally, I'm a big fan of this underground artist named Willie Crooks, who intentionally clips his
Willie
kicks.
Crooks.
If you don't know, clipping is a type of distortion when the audio is too high for the system to handle, so it just cuts off. And usually it sounds terrible. Basically, this is what clipping is. Me
Wait. Let me lower it.
talking really loud into the mic. See the audio
Oh,
clipped, and now
okay.
it sounds shitty, even if it's quiet. But in his music, I think he makes it sound kind of cool. Or even vocal imperfections, like when an artist's voice cracks or messes up, can sound good.
Sure,
It makes
sure.
the music sound so much more human. And that video by Lachlan was great. However, I don't agree with all of his takes. For example, he said a lot of rap all sounds the same now.
Oh, come on. Not too much on rap. Actually, mainstream rap, yes. Underground, no. Actually, no, that's a lie. Now underground rap is starting to sound the same. Why? Because everyone is paying homage to each other. So everyone's what? Making the same music, and it's pissing me off. Guys, homage is different, okay? Just say you're becoming clones. Everyone's just becoming clones of each other, okay? There's no such thing as homage no more.
Music, I would argue, is probably the biggest offender of this trend. The genre seems to have just been completely taken over.
Rap is such a wide genre, exactly. That's why I don't know what he's talking about. Bro, you got literally different types. Like, you got melodic rap, you got like whatever the hell the other part of rap is. Pop rap. There's pop rap now. Apparently there's pop rap. I'm going to be a Keyerii clone. You know what? That's kind of the best clone you can be. So I don't blame you.
By minimalistic
Trap, exactly. There's trap. There's all these different kind of genres. So, you can't really say that about rap. You really can't. That's
trap
low-key
beats and a
disrespectful.
hyper fixation on aesthetics. They're not really offering the listener
He's talking about Kai. He talked about aesthetics. He's talking about Kai.
anything other than some vibes. And look, I'm not saying that every
Yeah, but like,
rapper
what
needs
else
to
do you
be
want from music?
Nas or Pharoah Monch or whatever, but it almost feels like being able to actually rap or write good lyrics is now somehow cringe in modern rap.
He makes a point there. But at the same time, then you have people like Kendrick who's still doing this kind of Kendrick, J. Cole, even Drake who's still writing lyrics properly. And they're still doing well, you can't really say that. Mind you, some of the biggest artists, biggest rappers in the world are people who actually are lyricists, no? Kendrick Lamar, J. Cole, Drake. These are just the easiest I can bring up. So for you to say that, you're kind of proving your own point wrong. Trap, drill, melodic storytelling, metal, rock, indie, slow, loud, aggro, calm, all types of hip hop. Exactly. Yeah, this guy, I don't know. I think he just, he clearly doesn't listen to rap. Or maybe he was this kind of guy who listened to rap back in the day. That's the whole reason why he brought up Nas. And then, I get what he's saying, but at the same time, he's low key wrong. That's really what I can
There was
say.
a time when sounding like another rapper was taboo.
Yeah, that's true. No, you would just be a clone. You would be called a clone. That's really it.
Now, most of these rappers sound the same, right? And again,
Good point. Most of them do.
that's not me being an old man yelling at clouds.
Not everyone sounds like Uzi and Kai, exactly. I mean, they're really the blueprint for the underground. So at the same time, it makes sense that they are. It's Uzi, Kai, Thug. Those are really the people that everyone's trying to sound like. And I don't blame them. Because there are a few people who have done that method and it's worked. Uzi, Kai, Youngboy as well. Despise mumble rappers. See, that's the thing. You really gotta how do I explain this? There's really a fine line between mumble rap and lyricist rap. Soon you'll understand that you can enjoy both. Thug, Wayne, and Sosa for the older rappers. That's true. That is true. They were very big inspirations to a lot of the older rappers. That makes sense. Yeah, but look, mumble rap is more that's the thing with mumble rap. you don't have to worry about the lyrics. You just have to worry about it sounding good. And most of the time, it does sound good. And then with lyrical rap, you have to make sure the lyrics are good. You know, it's like, let's say you're at the gym. You're not really trying to listen to lyrical rap, are you? Nothing wrong with lyrical rap, but like, you're trying to focus on pulling weights. You're not really trying to focus on what the guy's saying in your ear. So it's better to listen to mumble rap because you don't really have to worry about what they saying in your ear. You just have to worry about it sounding good. So when you're lifting your weights, you don't feel too stressed out, you know? 5% on mumble rappers is listenable. Half of them just sound like grumbling at me, though. Fair. I mean, look, that's your opinion. It's fair enough, you know?
Genuinely, a lot of these new rappers have the same flows, the same beats, the same subject matter, the same styles.
Money and hosts. Yeah, he's right.
Everything is the same.
And even though I
I
disagree
feel lyrics because it helped me get hooked easier. Yeah, fair enough.
with that take, it's sort of an old head argument, and I think there's more diversity in rap than ever before. But I do think that rap is a big component of this dry spout we've been seeing lately. In fact, I just saw a headline that said, for the first time since February
saw this
1990,
headline.
there are no rap songs charting inside the top 40 of the Billboard
That was
Hot
so
100. And
unfortunate.
apart from the Kendrick Drake beef, there hasn't really been much exciting music in the mainstream rap. Remember, this video is about upper echelon mainstream. For a long time, rap hasn't had an artist break out into the mainstream, and most of the artists carrying the genre these days are the older artists.
Low-key, that's true, actually. Who's the most recent rapper that blew up that's, like, doing really, really well? Well, it's low-key female rappers, low-key. If you really think about it. Like, what, Glorilla, Lotto, you know, they're really the main people. When I think of people that blew up recently that are still relevant to this day, it's low-key the female rappers, you know? When you really think about it. Ice Spice, you know? When you really think about it. I'm be real, you know, like, it's kind of crazy, but we really haven't had anyone blow up like that recently. Maybe Yee is a really good one. Yee is probably a one that I can think that blew up into mainstream. Baby Keem, yeah, but the thing is, Baby Keem has been MIA for too long now. I don't know what he's doing. They said Tupac only made music about money and girls, but it was propaganda to hide his potential political lyrics. Yeah, true. Do you listen to Eminem, big bro? I listened to a little bit of Eminem. I'm not gonna say I'm tapped in because I'm not. I'm actually not tapped in with Eminem. But I've heard it's like his most popular songs. Obviously, you know, I know who he is. I know the kind of influence he had. So you know. But I'm not tapped in like that with Eminem.
This is important because for a very long time, rap has been the biggest genre by market share in the mainstream. As of 2023, it still
Oh, no,
was.
Baby Keem
but
actually got his first concert in years soon. Oh, seriously? But like, yeah, but like, why did he take such a long hiatus though? I swear he said his next album was gonna drop in like a year. He didn't drop it. He still hasn't dropped the album since Melodic Blue. No, it's All Points East. It's at All Points East. Oh, well then he's probably gonna announce his album there, right? Surely, right? Surely you don't go on hiatus for that long and not even announce an album.
I'm not quite sure where.
Like at least when someone like Kai was doing it, he was pretending to drop albums, but he didn't drop an album. At least he was pretending. Baby Keem just doesn't even care. He just hasn't said anything. Praying. We'll see. Hopefully he does.
It's at today.
So I look, did like the Melodic Blue. It was good, really. It was really good.
Regardless, in 2025, the best-selling albums were Kendrick's GNX, Lil Baby's Wham,
Okay.
Tyler's Chromacopia and Don't Tap the Glass, Cardi's Music, Drake's Some Sexy Songs for You, and Big X The Plug's Take Care.
Yeah, but notice how most of these dropped early this year. Look, we had what?
Were Kendrick's GNX,
GNX was early this year / late last year. I don't remember.
Lil Baby's
Wham was early this year.
Wham, Tyler's Chromacopia,
Chromacopia dropped last year, like October last year.
and Don't Tap
This is the only recent album that sold well. So fair enough.
the Glass, Cardi's
Music dropped beginning this year.
Music, Drake's Some Sexy
Drake's and Sexy Songs dropped beginning this year.
Songs for You, and Big X The Plug's
I don't know. I don't listen to Big X the Plug.
Take
so I don't know
Care.
when this dropped.
Aside from half of these being released in 2024, the only
See?
new artist on this list was Big X.
Yeah.
It really feels like rap hasn't had any big newcomers in the last like
true. That's
3
very
years.
true.
And most of its newcomers who break through the mainstream have no staying power, like
Oh.
Ice Spice, Roddy Ricch, Polo G, and a lot of these other
Wait.
artists.
Polo G's been blown up for a while. You know, he's been blown up for a long time now.
It's like, what are they doing today? Like they're not doing anything. And as a huge rap fan, please do not get me wrong. I think rap has a ton of great music coming out every single week, month, day, year, but it's just not breaking through to the mainstream like I wish it would. For example, we got 2 Chainz.
Polo G ain't being pulled in with them. Yeah, like, come on, man. Come on, don't do Polo G like that. Yes, his last album wasn't as good as... I'm gonna be real. He peaked when he dropped the GOAT album. When he dropped the GOAT album, that was peak Polo G. Jenny Polo G, I would gladly tell people Polo G was my favorite artist back then, because I wasn't be lying. I'll genuinely be telling the truth. The GOAT album by Polo G is an amazing album, but then he couldn't really follow it up. This is why it's bad to drop a really amazing album early into your career. Early into it wasn't really early into career, but you get it. You get what I mean. This was like his main eyes for stardom, because then your other projects are not gonna really be up, like, compare with it, unless your other projects are really good as well.
Chains and Larry
That's why people wait years to drop, so then at least the fans can somewhat ride the wave on their old one.
June's album this year, Yeats EP,
Larry June is really good. Yeast EP was really good.
the Until Japan album,
Until Japan, goated obviously.
Jid dropped,
Jid's album was pretty good.
Earl Sweatshirt, Freddie
I actually didn't listen to that one. Alfredo 2 was pretty
Gibbs
good.
put out a phenomenal project, and multiple others. But none of these are going super big in the mainstream like they may have a decade or so ago.
True,
so no,
true,
I
true.
don't think that people think lyrics and rap are cringe. I think there are different styles and scenes that are enjoyable for their own reasons, and both of which I believe can have longevity so long as the quality of the music is good. I think one of the biggest artists number-wise who blew up these past couple of years is Yeat, and even he hasn't had
I told you, Yeet. I
a
said that.
big hit song or become a huge mainstream artist. And think
Yeah, no, he did have the big song with the whatever the hell on 29.3, whatever that song was. He did have that big song, but that is true. Really and truly, he had the Drake cosign, which really blew him up as well. But yeah, I see what he's talking about.
about the big
For Yeet, it was just consistency. That's how he got to where he was.
three: Kendrick, Drake, and Cole. Like, there is nobody that comes to mind that can replace those three in terms of quality music as well as mainstream staying power. So of course,
Yeah.
I'm not one of those old heads saying hip hop is dead, but it feels like it's just kind of in a dry period waiting for its next big era to come out, like maybe the SoundCloud era. And this has a big impact on the overall music industry as the biggest genre right now. With rap being in a dry spell, it feels like a lot of the music game is as well. However, another reason I think rap isn't being pushed as hard right now and pop music is getting simpler is because record labels know exactly what makes them money, and they are milking it. If you
That's
don't know, for the most part, there are 3 major labels that own pretty much every other record label.
Let's see if I can guess. Interscope, Universal, AMG, Sony. Let's see if I got that right. Universal, AMG, Sony. Let's see if I got that right.
Those labels are
Oh, Warner Brothers. Okay, I got 2 of them right. Universal and Sony. Warner Music do make a lot.
Warner, Sony, and Universal. Also, by the way, I kind of want to make a video on how they created like a bit of a monopoly in the music industry. So if that's interesting, let me know if you want to see that. But unless you're listening to a pretty small artist or a big artist that is explicitly independent or on an indie label, they are at the thumb of these major labels. And major labels, especially when they have a large artist or an artist they're developing, they know how to make a hit. I made a video a while ago called Why Every Popular Song Sounds the Same. And of course, that was an overgeneralization, but I'm going to play you a clip of that video to show you what I mean. Scientists have studied 464,000 songs and found that both melodies and sounds of instruments are becoming much more similar. Songs are also becoming shorter because of this, and streaming platforms are prioritizing those shorter songs, mainly because shorter songs are less likely to be skipped. In the past 2 decades, labels have even acquired technology that they can use to analyze music and predict what songs will be hits. They can use services such as Hit Predictor or Shazam to see what songs will blow up. Apparently, Hit Predictor was able to predict 48 out of the top 50 radio hits in 2013. There are actually even entire companies such as Next Big Sound which are dedicated to analyzing music and finding the next big sound. And you're probably thinking
music is just all about the money now. What can you do, man?
that if labels keep pumping out this generic music, people will eventually get tired of it. And while that may be true for some people, science says it actually isn't for the majority. In a study done by Columbia University in 2006, they showed some people music websites with a bunch of songs and
How
told
does Shazam even work? Basically, from what I can tell, I'm pretty sure it's just AI before AI. What I mean, basically, you play a song, you press Shazam, the Shazam will hear the song, and the Shazam will actually tell you what song it is. That's why I say it's AI before AI, because you just all you have to do is play some like 10-second sound for the song, and Shazam will know what it is, because it will basically match lyrics and then match the sound of the song to whatever the song is. Yeah, that's crazy tech. That's what I'm saying. This was a long time ago. Shazam's old as well. So like it was really AI before AI, you know?
Them to download their favorites. Some sites had rankings of the most popular songs and some didn't. It showed that people who saw the rankings were more likely to download the popular songs. They then did a second experiment where they did the same thing, but this time they sent out websites with the actual download statistics and then some websites with fake download statistics. The experiment proved again that believing that a song is more popular made people more likely to download it. Another study done in 2011 shows that the brain produces dopamine when people hear songs that they have played and heard before. This video is almost...
That makes sense though. That does make sense. Because, you know, if you've heard the song before, it's probably a song that you like. Because you probably heard it a lot of times. And then, you know, you get happy because you're like, oh my gosh, I like this song. It makes sense.
3 years old now, and it's more true than ever before. Also, by the way, I've been doing YouTube full-time for 3 years, so I just want to say thank you guys, because that's dope. But yeah, what I mentioned in that video I think explicitly speaks to what I'm talking about here. Record labels are intentionally, scientifically, carefully crafting the most cookie-cutter songs with elements from every hit to create new hits. And I think this shows in a lot of popular songs today. If we look at the biggest songs of the year so far, we have songs such as Ordinary by Alex Warren, Beautiful Things by Benson Boone.
You know what's so crazy? Genuinely, I think I just listened to too much rap. Like, I genuinely... Okay, I was coming back home from school yesterday. And, like, someone was listening to Spotify, right? And you know how, obviously, on Spotify, on your phone, like, it shows at the front, right? When you press it, like, you could see, like, the song and the title, whatever, blah, 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 right? I don't know why. Mind you, this is, like, a Caucasian woman in her, like, 20s. I don't know why I expected her to open her phone and for it to be a rap song. But she opened her phone and it was Arctic Monkeys. Like, I think I just listened to so much rap because I'm looking at this list right now and I'm like, I cannot name or think of a single person that would listen to this song. You know, I just genuinely think that if people are outside, they're either listening to maybe pop or rap. That's it. You know, like That's So True by Grace Abrams. I don't know who this is, by the way. I would not expect someone to just open their phone and that to be there. Maybe it's because, I mean, it makes sense. I'm in London, so, you know, a lot more people are going to listen to, like, rap and stuff like that. Well, South London. Yeah, you know what? It's because of where I'm from. You know what? That makes sense, actually. You know what? Never mind.
Espresso by Sabrina Carpenter and more. And these songs aren't bad by any means, but there's just...
The first I've gone out is, like, R&B songs made by rappers. Yeah. Makes sense. It makes sense because... But I mean, yeah. I mean, I don't blame you, man. I just like the rap genre so much. You know, there's just so much to do. There's so much to listen to. So, you know, you can't really get bored. What about Usher and Neil? They are pretty good. I haven't tapped into them that much, but I've listened to some of their songs and they are pretty good.
Nothing special about them. They're just pretty ordinary. Also, I'm excluding Pink Pony Club and Birds of a Feather because I actually really like those songs. But if we're being honest, Birds of a Feather probably isn't all that special either. On top of all this, though, not only are labels pushing for these cookie cutter songs, but now they are straight up nostalgia baiting. What I'm about to tell you is kind of crazy, but you know how...
Let's see if he talks about them paying homage. Because if he's talking about the homage problem... Thank you.
They have writing camps in the music industry. If not, it's basically where music industry people get a bunch of songwriters together, maybe looking to sell these songs to certain artists or asking the writers to write a certain type of vibe song, like write a love song. But now they have camps that are specifically asking writers to write songs using interpolations. I found this out when making my previous video called The Art of Stealing Music Legally. Interpolating...
See, this like... Bro, I don't understand the writing part of the song. It's like... What's the point, you know? But at the same time, it makes sense. Because if you really think about it, let's say you have someone who's a really good writer. You might be thinking, well, if you can write the music that well, why don't you just make the music yourself? A lot of people don't have voices that can harmonize well. What I mean, if you're writing for a pop singer, but you can't sing, of course, it's not going to sound right. You know, the lyrics might be good, but it's not going to sound nice to people's ears, so they're not going to listen to that. Or if you're a person that can sing but doesn't know how to write lyrics, you might write a song and it might sound good technically, but people won't know what you're saying, or people will be like, what are these lyrics? They won't really tap in. So I technically understand these writing camps and stuff like that, but at the same time, I do think that it is like they're like lab training these artists to make hits. It's like, what's the point, you know? It's like, what's the point in music at that point, you know? You might as well just ask AI to make the music themselves, you know? That's at that point, just get AI to write the music and sing the music somehow. You know?
It's basically borrowing and repurposing a melody, somewhat similar to sampling. Then once these new songs that interpolate old songs are written...
One of us probably are using AI now. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, they probably are. I mean, we've seen supposedly Carti supposedly using AI on his song Timeless with The Weeknd. I don't know where they got that information from, but apparently he did. I don't really care because it sounded good anyways, but you know, there's not really a point in getting Riot Camps if you can just get AI, you know?
They're sold to artists throughout the industry, which is just insane to think about, that there are songwriting camps that instead of writing entirely new songs, are just remixing old ones for artists to take advantage
Is
of
Kai
this
really
trend.
that
And
good?
it's
He really is that good, Loki, man. He really is.
so successful because it plays on familiar melodies that labels and artists already know people like, repackaging them to a newer generation. Like I said, I did a whole video on interpolation, but it is truly fascinating.
Bro, how do they all have the same haircut, man? But this haircut was too crazy back in the day. Not that I would know because I was like 3 years old when this was happening, but everyone had this haircut for some reason.
So clearly labels are meticulously crafting songs either based in nostalgia or data, which is what is resulting.
When AI first blew up and they made a Drake song that sounded exactly like him and everyone went crazy, yes, I do remember this. I do remember it. See, that's the thing about, you know, having, you know, not being that crazy lyricist. Like, because, you know, if you're a very good lyricist,
like-
it's really hard for AI to copy you because people would either have to write the lyrics down or AI would have to somehow write the lyrics down themselves, you know, and then it would be hard to do that, right? But if you're not a lyricist and you're like somewhat of a mumble rapper, it's easy to copy you because you can really just say anything and just get AI to mimic the voice and then, you know, bang. Didn't Drake use AI on one of his diss tracks with his Tupac Snoop? Yes, he did. He did. I do remember that one. But see, that's a different way of using AI because obviously instead of using AI on himself, he used AI for someone else. You know, he wrote the lyrics but got the AI to say the thing. AI would be good at wordplay but not storytelling. Yeah, exactly. But I mean, at the same time, where we're at now with AI, I would not be surprised if AI would be insane at storytelling. I wouldn't be surprised. Like the way AI is evolving, I wouldn't be surprised if AI could write a whole Kendrick Lamar album. Genuinely, like, I wouldn't be surprised. I'd be like, yeah, that's crazy, but I wouldn't be surprised. I'm not saying it will happen, but the way AI is evolving, who knows at this point, you know?
Songs sticking on Billboard for so long. Again, Billboard had to change their rules because these songs they're just stuck up on the charts for so long because nothing new is coming in and replacing them.
Some songs are from personal experience, though. That's true.
That's how boring this year's been. Like I mentioned earlier, the biggest selling rap albums this year, half of them are from last year. Like 2025 just feels like it's been a dud. And labels are also investing heavily into artists that play it super safe. For example, two of the biggest artists right now, Taylor Swift and Morgan Wallen, just put out some pretty big, bloated, bland albums. The 3 Bs, if you will.
That's what I heard. I heard about those.
Morgan in particular put out an album with 37
Wait.
songs.
Wait. First of all, he just beat Keyerii. I don't know how he got 37 songs in the album. Second of all, when did he drop this album?
Many of which were pretty bland, average, boring country songs. And don't get me wrong,
did he drop this?
The 3 Bs, if you will. Morgan in
2025. And he already has 295, 108, 281, 253 million, mind you. Who's more? He's a very famous country singer. I only know this because he was featured on a Lil Durk song. Very random, I know. But that's the only reason why I know who he is. But he's an extremely famous country singer. Or like that kind of like demographic. Never heard of him? Yeah, I never heard of him until the Lil Durk song. But yeah, he's very famous like country singer. He dropped the album in 2025 and he has 4 songs out of 5 that hit over 150 mil. You know how crazy that is?
in particular put out an album with 37
And that's another song, 100 mil plus.
songs, many of which were pretty
386 mil. Like this guy, Durk. Yeah, it's called Broadway Girls. If you never listened to it, it's literally, look, I can literally find it for you right now. Lil Durk, Morgan Wallen. See, look, Lil Durk, Morgan Wallen, Broadway Girls. I'm being dead serious. They made a whole song and everything. Mind you, look, 177 mil. And I promise you it's on because Morgan Wallen's on that song. If Morgan Wallen was not on that song, it would not have that much. Last guy I expected on a Durk song. Exactly. That's why I was so confused. I was like, because I see this, like, mind you, this randomly popped up on YouTube. I was like, what the hell Durk doing with some random white guy that I've never heard of before? I was like, what the hell? Click on it, I'm listening to the song. And this guy has like some country accent. I was like, what the hell am I listening to? So yeah, that's really the only reason why it has 177 million. But it was probably a move from the label, because the label definitely put them two together. Let's be real. What does Durk have to do with the country singer? Literally nothing. the racist whites probably love the guy. Hey man, he's a country singer, so I wouldn't be surprised, you know. Apparently, oh, he's racist himself. He was caught saying the N word, like randomly, like to random people outside. I don't know, man. You know, it's like, can we really be surprised anymore? No, he's clearly loved by the label because he didn't get cancelled or anything like that.
Bland, average, boring country songs. And don't get me wrong.
I only know this because after he made the song with Dirk, people were going online on the internet to be like, why is Dirk making a song with this racist? That's the only reason why I know this.
It's not bad, it's just underwhelming. Regardless, he was able to break records thanks to this album. On the flip side, Taylor Swift just put out her album with less songs, but she spam released 34 different.
You know she made at least 5 mil off this. What do you mean 18 CDs?
Swift just put out her album with less
18. Are we being for real? 18 CDs?
Songs, but she spam released
8 vinyls. Like what?
34 different versions of this album, and this resulted, of course, in her breaking a record for album sales, despite it being an album that many thought was bad or boring. The point is, neither of these two albums produced a hit that we all know and love, and maybe you do, but do all of us? Are we all singing it at school?
No.
Or with our friends in the car, or at the bar, or wherever? I don't think so. But this music, despite how boring or bland many may think it is still widely appealing and prints money for both the artist and the record labels. It's like the music industry version of a content farm. Don't get me wrong, again, there are still innovators and exciting artists in pop music, but a lot of it is bloated, bland, and boring. The 3 Bs. However, I think this is bigger than music. Apart from just the record labels causing problems, I feel like society as a whole may have an issue as well. There are more genres and even more music out now than ever before.
And this is so true. How are you telling me I checked my Spotify app today and I've discovered over 460 something different genres? What? And that's not even possible. That's genuine. How can I discover 460 something genre? Like what have I been listening to? I promise you, I've been basically listening to the same things I've been listening to last year, but I've discovered 460 something genres. That's not even possible. Like what? Why is there so many genres? There should. I listen to rap. What genre? How many genres are there?
Thanks to the internet and progressions in technology, there is a sound for everyone out there. But back in the day, all the music you had access to was what
subgenres have some genres like trap and trap. Oh yeah, that's true. But still, like, are we being for real? Like, there's no way. Like, the fact that I've only discovered 400 and something genres is insane. That means there's probably over like 1,000 plus. You know how crazy that is? Like,
what was in the record stores or CD shops. So chances were you were much more likely to be listening to more similar music as your peers. Nowadays, though, everyone is so hyper individualized. There are hundreds of different scenes in different genres, in different pockets of different communities. This is, of course, a great thing that people can enjoy their niche of music easier than ever before, but it's also contributed to a lack of community across society. There isn't a monoculture like there used to be. Monoculture is a concept in pop culture studies in which facets of popular culture are experienced by everyone at once, either globally or nationally. This isn't a widely accepted term in the sociology world, but I feel like it's pretty fitting. And many in the sociology world argue that monoculture ended by the 21st century, mainly toward the end of the 2010s, due to the rise of streaming media and the fracturing of popular culture. Patrick CC touched on this in his video titled The Death of Mainstream, which I think is very applicable here. Not only do we have infinite music to choose from, but we have so many things to entertain us and occupy our time. Amazing YouTube videos like this one, tons of shows,
you know, I'll give it to
and
you.
of course the lovely short form content that you can effortlessly scroll for hours. In an article by Vox, the writer said, "We're in the midst of the streaming wars, with so many different media products and platforms competing for our attention. Journalists and critics are worried that the huge popularity and sense of universality that Avengers and Game of Thrones achieved are now disappearing for good." The writer continued, "The fear is that we exist in a fragmented realm of impenetrable niches and subcultures enabled by streaming media. The second concern is that, because of the pressures of social media and the self-reinforcing biases of recommendation algorithms that drive streaming, culture is becoming more similar than different." And I think what they're trying to say is that culture in these sub-niches is becoming super, unique and uniform, whereas as an entire society, it's very niche down. Of course, this article is speaking on culture in general, including TV, books, just everything, not just music. But I think when specifically talking about music, it's rare that we can point out too many monoculture moments in the last 5 years. Apart from maybe some Ice Spice or Sexy Red or the Drake versus Kendrick, Chapel Rowan, and the occasional hit, I feel like there hasn't been a super huge monoculture moment in music in the last few.
Yeah. I mean, when Charlie XCS did her thing, apparently she blew up like crazy. So I don't know. Maybe if you get Jeremy Jazz Full Game, get Geo Dude and the mod in Geo to click between frames. Cool.
Years. The artists and songs I listed were definitely like big, but I feel like it wasn't universal. For example, let's just scroll through the Billboard Hot 100 best performing singles of the 2020s. Apart from maybe The Box by Roddy Ricch, how many of these songs were like universally loved in?
Alright, let's see. Wait, what do you say? This is The Box, universally loved for sure. The Weeknd, Blinding Lights, everyone loved Blinding Lights. Tootsie Slide, it was big for a time. The Scots by Travis Scott, again, this was really only big because of the Fortnite event. Say So was pretty big. It was Doja Cat, was pretty good. Looking Off these awards, that's what I was thinking, you know. Stuck With You, pretty big. Savage, pretty big. Rain on Me, I don't know what that is. Rockstar, pretty big. Trolls, pretty big. Cardigan by Taylor Swift, don't know what that is. Watermelon Sugar, this was insanely humongous. Cardi B feature, WAP, insanely humongous. BTS, yeah, this was also pretty big. Franchise was pretty big. I don't know what the hell Savage Love is.
Apart from maybe The Box by Roddy Ricch, how many of these songs were like universally loved and listened to by everyone? Maybe Bad Habit by Steve Lacy. I don't even think that one would count. I'm not sure if I'm making sense right now, if I'm just rambling at this point. But comparing songs from pretty much every decade of the music industry up until recently, it just seems like something's missing. With the endless amount of music, the lack of a monoculture, and everything being so hyper individualized, it's unlikely we will routinely have monoculture again, unless something major changes in society. But here's the deal. There are always artists in the underground scene building off of sounds and innovating. This is happening every day. When an old scene dies out, new ones are born. And there's always a musician working to create something new, original, or fresh. But for a lot of the reasons I listed, mostly having to deal with record labels and...
You know what I hate? You know what this sprang up? Bro, when I'm scrolling on TikTok and this a random underground producer or random music artist will be like, only trained ears will like this song. And it's just an insanely terrible beat. No, what they're trying to do is they're trying to make people turn into sheep. They might be like, oh, you know what? No, I actually like this. Yeah, my ears are so trained. I like this. This is actually good music. It's not good music, okay? You're just being roped into it to think that it's good music. Like, what do you mean only trained ears can listen to this beat and it's just them putting an 808 5 times in 1 second? Like, what? No. There's no such thing. Why are you trying to wrap people into this? That's not going to work.
The formulaic hits they're putting out, the mainstream is suffering. And I'm honestly not sure what it'll take to get it back to how it used to be, or if it ever will. Another thing this has resulted in is the disappearance of bands from the mainstream, which for a few other reasons too has become a recent phenomenon. So to learn more about that, consider clicking the video on screen right now.
See, he's smart, man. Segueing it to another... He's smart.